You take a sip, and there it is. That flat, ashy, drying harshness that grabs the back of your tongue and simply refuses to let go. You wince, swallow, and wonder why you even bother. This chart shows exactly what you're tasting. You've probably been told that caffeine is the culprit, but look at the breakdown. Caffeine accounts for only 15% of the bitterness in your cup. The other 85% is a completely different set of chemical compounds. To understand what that remaining 85% actually is, you have to ask why your tongue detects bitterness in the first place. Deep in our evolutionary history, bitter flavors signaled toxic alkaloids and plant pesticides. Your tongue developed an alarm system specifically designed to scream poison before you swallow. Caffeine is one of those natural pesticides, but it's a minor player here. The overwhelming harshness you taste every morning isn't natural to the raw coffee seed. It is a chemical reaction occurring right on your kitchen counter. Brewing coffee is a chemical extraction. If you don't manage the variables, the water pulls the same compounds your brain evolved to read as danger. Extraction operates on a strict timeline. When hot water hits coffee grounds, it doesn't grab all the available flavors at once. It dissolves over 1,000 different molecules in a predictable order. This graph tracks that extraction timeline. The very first things to pull into the water are the smallest molecules, the bright, fruity acids. Right behind them come the larger sugars and the chocolate notes that give the coffee its body. Then come the slowpokes. At the tail end of the brew, the heavy astringent compounds drag in. These are molecules like phenylindanes, and they carry that smoky, drying harshness. You can test this yourself tomorrow morning with a single pour-over. Catch the very first dark drips in a spoon and carefully taste them. They will be intensely sour and lemony. Then catch the last pale, weak drips at the end of the brew. Those will taste hollow and drying. You are tasting the timeline. You control that timeline with 3 dials, and the first is water temperature. Heat provides the kinetic energy that forces compounds out of the grounds and into your mug. Here is what happens when you pour straight from a screaming kettle. At 212 degrees Fahrenheit, the water has so much energy that it rips those heavy, bitter phenylindanes out of the coffee mass almost immediately. The fix requires 30 seconds of patience. Let the kettle sit after it boils. Once the temperature drops into this green zone between 195 and 205 degrees, the reaction slows down to a manageable pace. Carefully managing that kinetic energy allows you to coax out the sweet sugars and acids instead of extracting the punishment. The second dial is hiding inside your grinder. The physical size of your coffee grounds dictates their total surface area, and surface area dictates how fast the water can access the flavor molecules. Look at how water behaves in a fine powder. The water has a much shorter path to travel to reach the center of each particle. It floods the tiny fragments instantly, causing a rapid extraction. Compare that to coarse, gravelly chunks, where the water has to work from the outside in. This is a common trap. Your water temperature might be perfectly calibrated, but if your grind is too fine for your brewing method, those tiny particles will blow right past the sweet spot and cross the bitter finish line before you even notice. To fix it, you have to apply the physical brakes. Adjust your setting coarser. By increasing the mechanical size of the bean, you slow down the chemical timeline, keeping the harsh molecules locked inside the grounds. The third dial is time. It is the ultimate container for your brew. If you leave water and coffee in contact beyond the limits of your recipe, the extraction naturally continues, pulling in all the slow, bitter compounds. Think about a French press left sitting long after the 4-minute timer goes off. The longer it sits, the more it pulls. You are not making coffee anymore. You are making a harsh bitterness extract. The solution is physical separation. The second your timer goes off, you absolutely have to get the liquid away from the grounds. Pour it into a carafe or a mug immediately. But even with managed dials, your starting ingredients set a baseline. Hard tap water packed with minerals can pull harsh flavors, making filtered water a firm requirement. And then there is the bean itself. This infographic shows the chemical starting line for 2 different beans. Robusta beans and dark roasts naturally contain significantly more chlorogenic acids than a light Arabica. They are packed with the raw material that creates harsh bitterness before the brewing even begins. The solid baseline of filtered water and quality beans paired with proper time management, determines whether your extraction ultimately succeeds. Watch what happens when you stack these mistakes. You use boiling water through a fine grind and let it steep while you get distracted. Hot water pulling hard, tiny particles with no defense, and extra time. You yank every single harsh molecule into your mug. Look at the complete system. When your temperature, grind, and time are locked into the green, the timeline halts. You capture the fruit and the sweetness, and the process stops before the harsh compounds deploy. You are the one steering the chemistry. When a cup turns out harsh, you know exactly which knob to turn to fix it. The equipment is rarely the real villain. Understanding the why behind the kitchen chemistry allows you to dictate how your drink turns out. If this changed how you think about your morning routine, hit the subscribe button. Drop a comment below and tell me what kitchen mystery fails on you, and we'll investigate it in a future episode. Thanks for watching, and keep asking why.